Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. This video is going to be part 2 of the trilogy of videos that I have planned to do over the weekend. Part 1 was about my Sega Saturn collection, so hope you guys enjoyed that. This next video is going to be kind of a rambling video, a little bit. So I'm just going to be talking about some of my favorite games of all time. This isn't like a top 10 definitive list, because obviously that can change quite easily. However, I will say that at least two of the games in this pile here do often do often fight for my favorite game of all time. So there's that. But these games are ones that I just find myself going back to, not super recently, but just the games that I can just, like, if I'm having like a bad day at work, or I'm not feeling too hot, or whatever the case may be, I can pop one of these games in, play for, maybe an hour, hour and a half, what have you, decompress, not calm down, but just kind of okay, relax, okay, things are all right now, and I'm not feeling as well. I'm not feeling, too bothered as I was before. And then I can go back and play, go back to play like Horizon Forbidden West or something like that. So, but yeah. So that said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. So, first up here. I'm a big fan of this franchise. I'm not a super fan. I do like it. I do like this franchise. And this game, I went back to play through it before the remake came out. And I found myself enjoying it much more than I did the first time I played it. Or the first, dozen times I played it. Because I used to have the third one above this. But going back through it, like I said, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit more to it. And that game is Resident Evil 2, the original. Like I said, I used to have Resident Evil 3 above this. Mainly, stupid reason, I know, but I was young. The main reason why I had 3 above this is because Nemesis is my favorite POW. I mean, he's on a shirt I'm currently wearing, so that's how much you tell I like Nemesis. But when the 2 remake was announced, I wanted to go through the original again, fresh, just to kind of refresh my memory, things like that. And yeah, after going through that again, I was like, okay, yeah, 2 is definitely where it's at. Not to say 3 is a bad game, because it's not. It's still a pretty damn good game. But 2, with the whole, escaping the city aspect, trying to keep Sherry alive, the characters of Leon and Claire, the 2 different scenarios, seeing Birkin as he slowly, transforms, it was just phenomenal. So, yeah, definitely love the original Resident Evil 2 much more than I used to. And it's a great game. If you've never played the original Resident Evil 2, highly recommend it. Yes, the graphics are outdated. The controls are tank controls, and they're dated too. Yes, I'm fully aware of that. But it's a phenomenal game, definitely. So definitely check it out if you've never played it before. It's really damn good. This next game here is a JRPG. It's not my favorite JRPG that's next, actually. But I hadn't really even heard of this game before until I met my friend Brett. And he talked a lot about it. It's actually his favorite game of all time. I'm like, you know what? I never played it before. I never really heard about it until I, met you. And it's got me, from about from how you're describing it, it sounds pretty interesting. So I'm gonna grab a copy and play through it, and I did. Having done that, I can see why he likes this game. This game definitely deserves to be up there, along with like games like Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 1 or 2 or 3 even. The games that really defined that generation of the PlayStation. This game deserves to be up there with them, for sure. And that game is The Legend of Dragoon. Like I said, I hadn't really heard about this game before until I met my friend, but I, luckily got a copy of it, played it, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see why, for some, this is a great game, and it is a great game. The story really draws you in. It starts out, when it started off, I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of Final Fantasy-esque. Like, I'm getting that kind of same sort of vibe. But then it went off and it did its own thing. And like, okay, wow, that was great. That was so different than what I was expecting. That made me enjoy it even more. Because it succeeded. So what's the word? I don't want to use this analogy, but it went The Last Jedi. Is like the best term I can think of. I was expecting something particular, like, okay, this seemed like a Final Fantasy type game, blah blah. Then it went off and did its own thing. So I have to have major props for that. So easily one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. Not my favorite, like I said, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there for sure. So yeah, if you've never played Legend of Dragoon, do check it out. It's if you're looking for a not new, but like something a JRPG that you've maybe not heard a lot of people talk about, something a little different from the usual JRPGs. Check this out for sure. So I hope that one day we get a remake, maybe even a sequel. That'd be great too. I think what really kind of nipped that in the butt was the fact that this came out. I believe this came out late in the PS1 life cycle, so that's kind of an issue. But hey, who knows? Maybe if the fans are loud enough, we'll get a remake. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, great game for sure. Sorry, and also sorry if you hear noises outside. My windows are open and there's kids playing, so if you'll probably hear yelling and cars going back and forth, things like that. So sorry about that. But moving right along, this next game here actually is my favorite JRPG, and it is a Final Fantasy game. It's not 7. I like 7, but it's, for me, I played 7, I enjoyed it. It was good. I liked it. But then it's like it blew up literally, and it's like, well, that's all everybody was talking about, and that's all Square was doing. There's so many spin-offs to 7. There's like what two animated movies with 7. So it's like it blew up literally, and in my opinion, got a little overrated. It's still a great game, don't get me wrong, just kind of overrated in my opinion. But this Final Fantasy game is hands down my favorite. The story, the characters, just the overall lore, all of that just made me just love this one to death. And that is now this is the anthology, but the game in particular that I'm talking about in this is Final Fantasy VI, which ironically is most people's favorites. It's either 7, it's either 6, 7, or 9. I'm in the 6th category. But yeah, Final Fantasy VI, a fantastic game. If you've never played it, I don't see why you wouldn't have already, because it's been on everything. Hopefully, sometime this year, Square will release the Pixel remasters on to consoles. So hopefully that'll come soon. But yeah, 6 is just an amazing game. It really is. Next game here, Doom 2016. Now, I love Doom. I really do. I'm not a super hardcore fan of the franchise. I'm more like not a not a newbie or like a casual fan, but I do like it a lot. But this game came out, I think, at the right time for me personally. It came out in 2016, and I was kind of in a rut when it came out. I wasn't I was in a rut. My mom had just passed in 2015, and I was still grieving and just still trying to get over that. And this came out, and I fell in love with it. Yeah, the story isn't like mind blowing, amazing. It's not going to win any awards. Kind of basic, but the overall gameplay and the experience that this game gave me was something that I needed at that time. So it will always hold a special place in my heart for doing that. So yeah, if you've never played this Doom, go play it. It's a lot of fun. The story is kind of not generic, but just it's basic. But the gameplay, phenomenal. The controls, tight, responsive. Just the experience you'll get with this game is so good. The guns are awesome. Getting up close and personal with some demons to do very gory, but yet absurd kills to get health and ammo back. It was just spot on. It really was. It's something that I definitely needed at the time. So I'll always be thankful for that. So, and also just having this on the Switch. I have this on Xbox One as well. But being able to take this game on the go and play it whenever I want, just phenomenal. So definitely hold a special place in my heart. It really is for sure. Next, before I continue on, I gotta take a swig. Now, this next game here, those of you who know me or watch me, whatever, know that besides video games, another big thing I'm into is comic books, superheroes, movies, the actual books themselves. I like superhero stuff. I like both Marvel and DC. I'm one of those people who think you can like both. You don't have to pick a side. But for the most part, we never really did get good superhero games. There were a few that were okay, kind of mediocre, but they weren't like god awful. But most superhero games were just eh. One of the worst games of all time is a superhero game. Superman 64 is considered by many or most like one of the worst games of all time, for obvious reasons. So, we didn't really know if we were ever going to get a good superhero game. Well, we finally did. 2008, 2009. We got a little game called Batman Arkham Asylum. The game came out, and it showed that there can be good superhero games. You just have to take care and respect and love for that character in that world and really build upon it to create a really good game. And Rocksteady definitely did that with Arkham Asylum. Well, a couple years go by, 2011 comes into play, and they release the sequel. Batman Arkham City. This game built upon Arkham Asylum so well that Arkham Asylum had its own little boxes it had to check. Well, Arkham City did that and more. It put you in this semi-open world. It brought in more villains. Because really, in Arkham Asylum, really only fighting the Joker. He was the main bad guy. Sure, you fought Killer Croc, Bane, I think Poison Ivy. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played Arkham Asylum, but Arkham City introduced new villains to the world. Brought back Joker, brought back Harley Quinn, introduced Hugo Strange. It did everything Arkham Asylum did and then some. So definitely have to hand it to Rocksteady. This is definitely one of the greatest superhero games of all time, and I love it. It's just an amazing game. So if you never played Arkham City, again, I don't know what's keeping you. Go play it. It's a great game. Speaking of great games, oh boy, I got this game on my. I think this was one of the first games I got on my 360. When I got my 360, I got my 360 for my 21st birthday, I believe. This was the first game that I went and bought. The first game, at least. And as soon as the game started, I was hooked. The overall story, the gameplay, the atmosphere, all of it just sunk its teeth into me, and I would not let go until I finished it. And again, it's people call this game a classic for a reason, and it is a classic. It's one of those games that will be remembered in history as one of the greats of all time. And that game is Bioshock. I'm only talking about the first game here. As far as the sequels go, second one was alright. It was cool playing as the big daddy, being able to not have to go between guns and plasmids. Was a great step. Story was okay. It was an alright sequel. Infinite, again, it hit its moments, but I wasn't really a fan of being able to carry around two guns. Some of the figures were kind of repetitive of the plasmids from 1 and 2. Infinite was, again, it had its moments, but for me, it's the weaker of the trilogy so far. But the first game is where it's at. The first game was just amazing. That's the atmosphere, the lore, just the story that was being put in front of me as I was playing, just drew me in. And when I was done with it, when I was finally done with the game, I was like, wow, that what people talk about games being an experience, that was an experience for sure. So yeah, again, if you've played the Bioshock games, they're pretty cheap now. You can get the collection here on PS4 or Xbox One, Switch even. So yeah, definitely check these games out, especially the first one. Next, this next game is, again, one of those games that it's like Bioshock was an experience for me. I finally played it back in 2013. It was, it was 2013 when I finally played it, because it came out in 2013, so, obviously. But I didn't play it right away when it came out. But I finally played it. Even my mom, who, she, I don't know if she was alive, I would be able to ask her this, but I'm sure she didn't care that I liked video games. That I wasn't like on the street. I wasn't like in trouble all the time. I was, at home playing a game or reading or something. But even this game, because she watched me play it, even she was drawn to it. It's like, wow, this is damn good. This is pretty damn good. This is like movie quality, but as a game. And the story, again, fantastic. It really digs its claws into you and won't let go till we finish it. The characters, really good character development. Gameplay, kind of not basic, but it was good enough. But really, what sells this game is the story and the characters. And that game is, of course, none other than The Last of Us. Great game. Like I said, fantastic game. I'm not going to go much into it because it's The Last of Us. Everybody and their mother has most likely played it. But yeah, it's just a phenomenal game. It's one of my favorites for a reason. And I think one of those reasons for sure is just the fact that it was something both my mom and I not really bonded over, but it was just something that we both took. We both enjoyed it so much that it kind of drew us together, bonded us a little bit more. So, yeah. Last of Us. Great game. I really did enjoy the sequel. I really did enjoy the sequel too. I know a lot of people hate the sequel. I just don't know why. Yeah, it's shame that what they did to what happened to. It's a shame what happened to Joel, but besides that, it's the characters in that game. Both Ellie and Abby go on an amazing journey of not self-discovery per se, but just learning what it's like to be human again after all these years in the having to deal with this apocalypse. At least that's my opinion. So it is what it is. Next, now me being me, one of these games should make an appearance on this list. Which one did I pick? Well, I picked my favorite of the trilogy. And that, of course, is Dead Space 2. Again, I love the Dead Space franchise. It is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. Technically, it's a quadrilogy, kind of, sort of, because I do count Extraction as part of this overall series. So, depending on how you look at it, but Dead Space 2, hands down, my favorite of the franchise. Yes, 1 is still great. Yes, 1 is still scary. Yes, I agree with all that. But 2 really bumped that up to Dead Space 2, in my opinion. Dead Space 2 is what Arkham City is to Arkham Asylum. It's more the same, but they just upped it even more for the sequel. In 2, you're in a whole new area, a whole new place. You're closer to Earth. There's new necromorphs, creatures, and it wasn't. They could have just done that. Done, okay, we're gonna be a little bit closer to Earth. We'll have some new creature designs, and that'll be it. It'll be more the same. But no, they brought the psychological horror. They made it. They kind of injected a little bit of a Silent Hill into this as well. And that was what made me love it even more than the first game. That it wasn't just kind of a retread of the first game. It brought enough new stuff to the table. It made me go, okay, yeah, this is a great sequel. And it is. It's a great sequel. So, I love this franchise. I'm both looking forward to it and kind of not looking forward to the remake of the first game. I've yet to see more. There's supposed to be a big reveal in October for it, so hopefully by then it'll, kind of, okay, yes, I'm more excited. But yeah, Dead Space 2, amazing game. Great sequel. Love it. And I hope, hope that this first remake of the first game does well enough that we'll get maybe a remake of the second game or a remaster of the second game. Who knows? But yeah, great game. Next game here, again, this game and the last game here often fight for my favorite game of all time. Like again, it's that close. And many people will be surprised when I show this game off because it's a Zelda game, but it's not the Zelda game that most people would think would be, your favorite. Well, I grew up playing this, and I don't know why. It's just this particular Zelda game. Just I don't know. It was probably just the time I was playing it, but it just I don't know. There's something special about it that really drew me to it. I can't really explain it in detail, but this game just made me fall in love with it, and it's my favorite Zelda game, like I said. And that Zelda game is Twilight Princess. I know a lot of people say that their favorites are like Wind Waker, Link to the Past, Majora's Mask. Sometimes comes up in that debate. Breath of the Wild even now. But yeah, Twilight Princess is my favorite. Again, I don't know what it was, but I just love this game. It's a great Zelda game. If you've never played it, you got the GameCube version, you got the Wii version, you got the Wii U HD version. Most likely you'll be getting a Switch port of the HD version this year, most likely. So you'll have a chance to play it somehow, somewhere. But yeah, Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game of all time. It's not my favorite game of all time, like I said, but it's close. It's very close. And we'll can flip between this and the last game here. So, yeah. But there's a little Twilight Princess. Love this game. Glad to have it for sure. So. And that just leaves this last game here. This game is most likely my favorite game of all time. And it shouldn't be that much of a surprise because I love Star Wars. But when I first played this game, I was just drawn in immediately to the world, the story, the characters. The gameplay honestly is kind of but overall it was the story, the characters, and the experience that I got from this game. It made me have to sit down and wow, okay, that was phenomenal. That game is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I love this game. Like I said, being able to choose your own path, being able to be a Jedi or be a Sith, learn the awesome, really unique story of Revan and Malik, and all this was just phenomenal. I love this game, and it's ironic. It's ironic that this is my favorite game because in the Star Wars universe, my favorite character is Revan. It's again, my two favorite characters are Revan and Mace Windu, and again they'll flop depending what day you ask me. But yeah, KOTOR is a great game. It's an experience that needs to be experienced, especially if you're a big Star Wars fan. So definitely play this any way you can. The Xbox version. But I know it's on PC. It's on Switch now, so there's a remake. Hopefully coming. Hopefully soon. Hopefully there's some bad news. Bad news recently about the remake. So hopefully that gets sorted sooner rather than later. Because they're big fans of that game, and they really want to see how good a remake could potentially be, and I'm one of them. So, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, wasn't anything really too special. Just me talking about some of my favorite games. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for the next video, which will be my pickups for July. So.